Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Auto Anorak. We're finally back on YouTube and ready for some consistent uploading, but unfortunately this video isn't going to have quite the same vibe as we were originally intending. You see, if you watch Stradman's video about this brand new car, you will be aware that the video had more emotion, pain and sorrow than I believe we have ever seen in one of James's videos. Therefore, today I think we need to take a good look at this car together as the Strad fam, because this Liberty Walk Lamborghini has so many intricate details, so much painstaking hours of work put into it, and quite clearly one of the most meaningful stories behind any car I've certainly ever heard of. Hopefully a story that will make James feel connected to his father in some way during what is undoubtedly quite a bleak time in his life. So today we're going to be going through 7 of the most incredible features on this beautiful car. So everybody, number 1, the first feature that makes this car so special. This aspect of specialness is at much more of a face level, but it doesn't stop it from being astounding. This car is a Pirelli Edition Aventador. This doesn't mean that the car comes with 200 more horsepower or even new aerodynamic changes, but it did give the car one of the most stunning livery packs that have ever been applied to a car, along with extreme exclusivity. Just 100 Pirelli Edition Aventadors were ever produced, and it's believed that only around 15 of those were roadsters. That means that Stradman took a 1 of 15 car and not only cut off its fenders, but also changed the complete livery of it. This could have been executed poorly, but the white Pirelli Edition detailing on the car links subtly back to the car's heritage as a roadster, whilst also contrasting perfectly off that beautiful paintwork. And speaking of paintwork, yes, you guessed it, that's the second of this car's incredible features. The color isn't pink. I mean, yes, generally speaking, people would call this color pink, but this is a pink like no other. It's called Rosso Acanthus. And just as James has said, only 2 other Lamborghinis in the entire world have been painted in this color. One is a Lamborghini Centenario Roadster in Switzerland, and another is a Lamborghini Aventador SV that resides in Tokyo, Japan. And would you just look at the paintwork? Multiple layers of extremely expensive Lamborghini paint were involved in formulating this almost otherworldly looking glass pink finish. This glass look isn't by coincidence either. Rosso Acanthus incorporates incredibly small pieces of glass in order to ensure that the car can reflect light with totally undistilled brightness, which is probably another reason why James shouldn't have taken his mask off in the paint booth, but hey, it's another reminder of his dedication to the Strad fam. This paint is nothing short of remarkable to look at, and is one of the only shades of pink that I'd certainly ever have in a car. That is, of course, if I could afford the paint, which is probably unlikely, as it's rumored to cost in the region of $100,000 if you buy it directly from Lamborghini. Also, does anyone else remember when Mo Vlogs wrapped his Aventador in pink? I almost had a fit. It was horrible. It seemed like sacrilege, and to be honest, I still think it is. That pink was somewhat vulgar, whereas Stradman's is just utterly exquisite. It's like nothing I've ever seen before, and more importantly, it's the first Lamborghini that his friend Dave was able to paint after a tough battle with cancer. That is something extremely significant and exemplifies how cars are more than just the sum of their parts. Yes, they are inanimate, of course they are, but they are symbols of overcoming struggles, outlets for us to express who we are via personalization, and most importantly, they are used to spend time with the ones we love in new and interesting ways. Okay, that was a bit heavy for a paint segment on a car, but I've just got to get across how much every single detail in this car matters. Next, this Aventador already had an extremely turbulent life before James purchased it. And by turbulent, I of course mean that it crashed into a police car, which is definitely a rather turbulent past for a 1 of 15 Lamborghini Aventador Pirelli Edition. But to be honest, this hasn't turned out to be such a bad thing, because whilst most Aventador Pirelli Editions would face drastic depreciation after having a Liberty Walk kit fitted, never mind painted in pink, the depreciation already occurred for this car once it crashed into a police car. And additionally, the depreciation doesn't even matter on this car in the first place, since James is almost certain to keep it forever. Yet again, we're seeing another of the many examples of James being financially sensible and going for the option that saves him the most money and also really doesn't affect the experience of the car. And if this car wasn't unique enough already, the 4th feature that we've picked out on this list just takes this masterpiece to an even more unique level of uniqueness. Liberty Walk has long since been the byword for making your already shouty, loud looking car look 10 times shoutier and 10 times louder. Being a supercar owner that Liberty walks their Lamborghini is kind of like pouring a tub of wasabi onto your already spicy meal at a Japanese restaurant. It's probably not going to be that fun to do it every day. It simply just isn't a very practical thing to deal with, but boy, is it going to be entertaining for everyone else to watch. Stradman's Lamborghini Aventador is no exception to this simile. It's undoubtedly a nightmare to park, but man does this thing have presence. Drink in the abundance of carbon fiber pieces that are assorted amongst this car's bodywork. Bask in the girth of that almighty Liberty Walk wing, and remember that James had to cut into this 1 of 15 Lamborghini's bodywork to accommodate the 3-piece boss and wheels that reside beneath those aggressive bodywork haunches. This is the second iteration of Liberty Walk's Aventador kit, and its extra aero along with totally new panels like the vented hood helped to achieve the impossible. If the Lamborghini Aventador were a cat from factory, the Liberty Walk one is a saber-toothed tiger. It's that aggressive. It's the sort of thing that would make you jump a little bit if it was hiding in your rearview mirror. A mere 50 of these kits were produced worldwide, and this is almost certainly the only Aventador Pirelli Edition to grace the exquisite Kato-san designed body kit. Custom Lamborghinis do not get much more special than this. Next is the exhaust system. This is an incredibly important part of the car, as James has claimed his all-time favourite modification on any car is the FI exhaust on his first Aventador, and it's easy to see why. This car doesn't just echo through the streets of Salt Lake City, it echoes throughout your soul. Take a listen. I believe FI may be developing a brand new straight pipe system after the popularity of the tone that Japan's powercraft systems offer. These exhaust systems provide a visceral, banshee scream that quite literally sounds like an angry Pagani Zonda. That good, and companies like Gintani have replicated this exhaust for clients like Savage Garage after a sudden surge of demand in the US market. Potentially FI might be cashing in on this and doing it too. Regardless, this will be Strad's favourite mechanical component on this car and is worthy of being the 5th crazy feature on this list. Our penultimate feature about this car is the fact that James did almost all of the work on this thing by himself, and you've got to hand it to him. He's done quite the job when you consider that just a few years ago he struggled to change the exhaust on his Audi R8.
I hope I don't break anything, but I don't know what else to do.
Let's not forget as well that the Pirelli Edition Aventador is starting to get old, and the chance of expensive clips breaking is much higher than you'd think. It's fair to say that we were all wondering if he'd ever finish this car, considering it took him so much time to simply take the panels off. And I was personally thoroughly impressed by how quickly this build came to fruition. Seriously, well done James, and well done to his friend Dave yet again for perfecting that paint finish. And now we reach the final point, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not the fact that you can't put the front roof panels in the front bonnet because of the vents that are now there. In fact, you probably already know what it is. It's what this car represents in so many capacities. Firstly, this car means a lot to Stradman. In terms of his history making YouTube videos and his automotive preferences. Many years at the SEMA show, Strad had snuck in to get some exclusive shots of all the world's craziest builds, and it was there that he captured some of the first footage of Liberty Walk's brand new Ferrari 458 and Liberty Walk kits at the time. Of course, the most notable piece of content from this was the Jeep crashing into the 458, but nevertheless, his footage of the Liberty Walk squad during that week was another step to bringing his channel to the next level. And as an OG, you can see that he really wants to experience a lot of the cars that made him viral for himself, such as the Bugatti Veyron. Additionally, we can't forget that the Aventador is James's favourite car, and the fact that this is his second one is a testament to that. But finally, these things seem trivial in comparison to what this car will ultimately represent for James. It's the car that will wear the Papa Strad name with pride as a rolling memento to the father that made Stradman the person who he is. I don't think we need to explain the sentimental value of this part of the car. All I can say is that the Strad fam will have your father in their thoughts every time that this car appears in the channel, James, and we know that he would be proud of the genuinely positive impact that you've had in the world. I've said this many times and I'll say it again every single time I watch a Stradman video. Even if I've had the worst day ever, everything's gone wrong, Stradman always just makes it that bit better. It's such a fun, positive YouTube channel, and you know that whenever you're tuning into it, you're gonna get something that's gonna uplift you. So I think, just like everyone that watched that video, the contrast of that to what the video on the Liberty Walk Aventador was like, was crushing. It was extremely hard to watch. I'm sure you guys felt the same way. I just feel sorry for the guy, and I hope that you guys are okay with me uploading this video. I wanted to upload a video on the Stradman Aventador. I had told myself that whenever we got back onto YouTube, the video that I would make would be a video unpacking all of the various exciting features on this car. Obviously, this video has had to change in accordance to what has happened, but hopefully you guys will see that I've tried to do this in as much of a respectful way as possible. And as a person whose YouTube channel is all about the automotive YouTube community, and as a person who basically focuses on Stradman more than any other creator, we can't just skip this car and not acknowledge it. We have to take a great look at this thing and truly take in what it means going forward on the Stradman channel. I don't know whenever Stradman's next video is, although I think, yet again, I would speak for most people when I say that he should take off as much time as he needs. He's been flat out forever, and I don't think it's going to be very easy for him to transition back into videos in the same way with such energy. So Stradman's family, I wish you the very best. We will all be more than happy to wait until you're ready to make videos. But until then, guys, I will see you in the next video, hopefully coming very soon. So I will see you then, and until then, have a great day, everybody.